So I'm Rick Roth, one of the people that put together the Ink Kitchen, which is a free resource online for embroidery, screen printing, garments, etc. Check it out, inkkitchen.com. We're sponsors of the Shop Talks. So ISS and Impressions, Haynes has allowed us to put this together, a place people can get together, talk shop. Lord knows, usually your spouses, employees, et cetera, do not want to talk shop. But at least when you're here, you can talk to other business owners, other people that do what you do. And that's what the purpose of this is. So Bill is actually the only person from past shows that we invited to talk, because we're trying to change this around a little and have people that do this work day in and day out, and that's what he does. So if you look at the list of speakers, we also have it on a piece of paper over there, or you can check out at the Long Beach ISS show site. All the shop talks are listed, and we hope you'll come out all day today, all day tomorrow. Free beer at 4 o'clock tomorrow. So want to thank ISS and Impressions for this. And so Bill is going to talk about embroidery. Also, one last thing. So our sponsor, Champion, we have printed these shirts. Which are very cool. And if you get a little card like this from one of us, you can go to the Haynes booth and get a free shirt of your size even, all the way up to XXX. I'm not giving you this one, but my wife will give you one.
They call that vintage for all of us with gray hair. Yeah.
All right, take it away. So this is Bill from BG Tech. He does all kinds of embroidery maintenance, and he's going to talk about bobbins, which if you care about embroidery, you better care about bobbins.
Hello, everybody. That's right. How many people here have an embroidery machine? Raise your hands. Perfect. You're in the right shop talk class. Y'all can sit down if you want. I promise it's going to be more comfortable. I'm not going to be done in 30 seconds. All right? So, everybody here that's got an embroidery machine, I need to ask you one simple question. And I want to see who the first person can answer this question correctly. Why is there tension knobs on your machine? He tightens the bobbin to keep the white from showing through. That's part of it, but you're going to learn all about that here in the next 18 minutes. I still need somebody to answer this question correctly. Why is there tension knobs on your embroidery machine? Bingo, he won. It is because of specialty brands of thread in the industry. Pretty much 99% of everything else that you do in life, you are using a good quality brand of thread, polyester, rayon, your brand of choice. And you stick with that brand of thread, your first needle to your last needle. For that reason, every tension knob on your embroidery machine should always look how compared to the one beside it? Exactly the same. Guess how many customers me and my technicians go to and they're not the same? All of them until we train them. Okay? Because that's what it boils down to. Unfortunately, in our industry, guys, there is no 2 a.m. tension fairy that comes into your shop to mess with your tension knobs. That is you, your spouse, and your employees that are turning those knobs, and you're about to learn the reason why. Okay? What I have up here is a couple of bobbin cases. Okay? A bobbin case on average costs about $8 in our industry that pops into your $20,000 sewing machine. Okay? That bobbin case causes 85% of every single sewing and tension issue you have Monday through Friday, January through December. And if you learn to maintain that bobbin case correctly, like me and this guy here, you won't lose your hair. Okay? Because that's what happened. I had tension issues for decades. Yeah. Yeah, you're going to get in trouble there, buddy. All right, so maintaining and cleaning a bobbin case is key. If you can maintain the tension on a bobbin case every single day, you will not mess with your tension knobs. They will not magically change. Okay, so for that reason, whenever you feel tensions, and you can buy tension jigs and gauges to help assist with this, but truthfully, how many people's been doing embroidery for more than 5 years? Right, you know what your tension should feel like coming through your machine. When you feel the tension and it doesn't feel right, and it feels too tight or way too loose, right? I'm as guilty as everybody else. What I do is reach up, and you do is reach up and start turning tension knobs. That is never the solution. That is a domino effect. It actually starts creating additional issues down the road. When he comes in and cleans the bobbin and you adjusted tensions on 3 needles, now those 3 are wrong, okay? Consistency is key. And how you get consistency is with the one variable that is controlled by all 15 needles on your machine, which is the bobbin case. There's not a different rotary hook, a bobbin case, and bobbins for all 15 needles on your machine. Now, what I did before I walked over here in the booth I'm in, and by the way, I'm in booth 1134, so if you need additional information, that's where I'm at, as well as I got 4 more seminar presentations in the next couple of days. It's all in the directory, okay, upstairs for ISS. So what I did was I sewed a tension test. How many people's heard of an H-test, I-test, tension test, right? You sew it occasionally, see how your machine's running. What I did was made sure on the machine in the booth that we have over there, I set all the tension knobs exactly the same. I felt the bobbin, then I run the test. On the back, what you'll see is I write on it. Textbook tension is 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. That is 1/3 color, 1/3 bobbin, 1/3 color. Make sense? So, and then there's a range I like to tell people, 20% to 80%, because there's variables like lint and dust and things like that, okay? If you're in that range, you have got ideal tensions on your machine. When one doesn't feel right, do not reach up and turn the knobs. And please, do not stare at it with a pair of tweezers for 20 minutes trying to figure out what's wrong. You are professional embroiderers. You can rethread the needle in 30 seconds and the problem will go away 9 times out of 10 because it's something you can't see, wrapped wrong, in the wrong slot, hole, disc, and so on. Now below, what I did was I picked a color. This was number 3 on this test. That's the 3rd needle on the machine in the hot pink because it's very visible and easy to see. I sewed that letter again right here on your left side. Then what I did was I loosened the bobbin too much. Sorry, on your right side. Then I loosened the bobbin too much, so I'm getting out of range to where the white thread starts coming to the top. Does everybody know how to fix that one, a little white thread on top? It's called liquid thread. If you don't know what liquid thread is, raise your hand. Sharpies. Fine tip. Fabric markers. Touch it up, it goes 3 shirts in the pile, nobody ever knows. Yeah, you don't tell a customer, I'm sorry, I had to use a crayon on your expensive embroidery. Okay, don't laugh. You know you do it. Everybody does that. All right, everybody does that. Yeah. And then what I did was I just simply took the bobbin out and tightened it up too much. This is what me and my techs see. I got a team of technicians. We service on average between 80 to 100 customers a month on the East Coast because I am based out of Tampa, Florida. Okay? And then what I did is just by feel, I set the tension back and ran it 1 more time. So I'm going to pass that test around for you. Do we sell the front of embroidery or the back of embroidery? The front. So do I care if I got a 20% or 80% pull on the back? No, as long as I'm in range. I don't care about textbook. I need consistency and similar, not identical. I want you to be professional embroiderers, not professional tension setters, and 1 piece of lint or dust changes that tomorrow morning, okay? Maintain and clean your equipment. Do your annual cleaning, and I simply mean clean. Unthread your machine completely. Blow it down. Q-tips, rubbing alcohol. Get out the buildup, the residue, everything else. Make it a pizza party on a Saturday with your employees if you want to. Make it fun. Make it entertaining. So I'm going to pass that around. If you wouldn't mind, pass that over to your right and then pass it back for everybody else. Now, with the help of Rick, unfortunately, I'm going to have to do hands-free here, okay? Because I talk like this, and I got to show you some stuff. So this is my Vanna White, everybody. So round of applause. All right. So the first thing I have here is a good bobbin case. So to give you an example, does everybody here know which direction your machine creates a stitch in? Anybody? It's always counterclockwise. This is the direction that your machine is stitching. If you ever want to know if you put your bobbins in wrong, go back to your shops, grab the thread while it's inside the machine and pull it. That thread should be spinning which direction? Counterclockwise. If it is spinning clockwise, you're actually putting your bobbins in backwards. This can cause sewing issues, even though it does work. Okay? If you want to check the tension on your bobbin case and you want to learn to do the drop test, you do this, guys, before you wrap the pigtail. You hold out about 1 foot of thread, you thread through the tension spring only. That's the flat piece of metal on the side with the 2 screws. The first thing it has to do is what? Support its own weight. When you do a drop test, What you want is about 1 inch to 3 inches. Normally you can mark that with a Sharpie and watch it. If you learn to do this test correctly, guys, you do not bend your wrist, okay? It's one motion down, one motion up. You do not shake it. It's not your husband, okay? And if you do it right, the thread will not slack between your hand and the case. So once again, it's arm down, arm up, arm down, arm up. One time and you'll feel it. But sooner or later, you learn this feel. And FYI, who sews with polyester thread? That's industry standard, okay? This bobbin, feeling it, will never, under any circumstances, feel tighter than your top thread when you feel it. If you do, you're on the verge of no bobbin showing over here, which is the verge of a bird's nest. When you got white thread appearing on top in a bird's nest, those are the extreme opposites of each other when it comes to tensions. So now with my handy dandy screwdriver, remember I've been a technician for a very long time, I'm going to loosen the bobbin case. What's the problem? Bobbin's too loose. One piece of lint causes this to happen. You ever do embroidery and then somewhere in the middle, you start seeing a little white and then it disappears and fixes itself? Normally a piece of lint got in underneath that spring and then the thread eventually worked it back out and the tension went right back to where it was. This issue right here, the test we're passing around, is the one where too much white thread is appearing on the back and coming to the top. It's too loose. Good news is, this doesn't hurt your equipment. Now, if, for example, it is too tight, and then it has no drop whatsoever, that is the other example on that test where no bobbin is showing. In this case, the bobbin is winning the tug of war. It's becoming tighter than the top, therefore it wins. It pulls all the color to the bottom. It has one place left to go, which is where? In the needle plate hole. And it takes the shirt with this, and we all love that word, bird's nest, right? So usually bobbins are way too tight. That's it. That's usually the number one cause. I'll simply set this back about where it belongs, and I can usually do it just by feel. That's a little bit too loose. If they're clean, a little bit goes a long way. So again, it supports its weight, comes around, okay? So what I'm gonna do is pull that out. This isn't my shop. I don't have to clean that up, so we're good.
Thank you.
Okay? It's two screws on the side. 2 screws on the side of every single bobbin case. The smaller screw is not adjustable. It's to mount the spring. The spring is nothing but a curved piece of metal. I'm going to send around 2 examples now. One is a good bobbin case. It's this one. Now, if you haven't seen these, business cards work fine, but this is a particular width of plastic. It's called a bobbin case cleaner. It is the exact thickness that is needed to go underneath the spring of a bobbin case. If this can slide under, you know your bobbin case is good. Second, it cleans the bobbin case front and back. Most importantly, this also fits on the inside half circle. It's the part that nobody thinks to clean in their bobbin case. This actually fits in that opening and comes out. So this is a good bobbin case. And then I'm going to pass around a bad one. So the bigger screw is for adjusting a bobbin case. And what me and my techs run into all the time is people over-tighten, over-tighten, over-tighten. When you flatten the spring, the tension is only created at the very tip. So when you flatten it out, we call the spring has sprung. Guess how many companies sell parts to an $8 bobbin case? None of them, right? So always have an extra bobbin case, because not maintaining and clean it, there's only one other thing you can do wrong. What do you think that is? Drop them on the floor. Because once they get dented, basically, they become out of round. You'll feel it's jerky when it's coming through. It's trash. Throw it away, grab another one. If you don't have extra bobbin cases in your shop, it's like driving around the countryside with no cell phone signal and no spare tire in your car, okay? So this spring is flat. It's destroyed. Now, the reason most people are doing this is because they're not cleaning the bobbin cases correctly on a regular basis the way they're supposed to. Okay, so I'm going to pass these 2 around. This one's good. You can see it. Business cards work well too. Okay, it's just residue on cards. You're only good for one corner like one time, and you don't want to leave that residue inside. This one's bad. Okay. Now, while he's passing that around, I'm going to show you the number one issue that we have with every single customer that we go to with bobbin cases. I simply have another one that's bad. The spring has been compressed too far, and once you flatten these springs out, it's a bent piece of metal. That's the tensioner. Once you flatten them out, you can't fix these anymore. Doesn't matter what you do. It can never be adjusted properly, okay? Now, cleaning and blowing out your rotary hook area. Can anybody tell me how many times a day that's supposed to be done? Very good, twice. Every 4 operating hours, you're supposed to be oiling the rotary sewing hook on your machine. Anybody tell me how long the rotary sewing hook's been in existence? It's 168 years. Rotary sewing hook was invented in 1851, mass-produced in 1901. Remember Grandma's treadle machine? Sews exactly like every piece of equipment over there in the exhibit hall. That hook has not been perfected in over a century and a half. This is the #1 issue we run into at every customer we go into. What's wrong with this bobbin case? It's too tight. And under no circumstances whatsoever should me or my technicians ever be able to do this to your bobbin case. You got it? Oh, I did it yesterday in class in every angle there is. Okay, who's going to get hit by this thing? Under no circumstances should your bobbin case ever be tighter than your top tension. Now, having a bobbin case cleaner, maintaining your bobbin case, is not as important as actually blowing out and oiling and cleaning the rotary hook. Under your needle plate, open the front cover where the bobbin and bobbin case live. That is the rotary hook assembly. This system lives in there its entire life. Therefore, if the rotary hook stays clean, what happens here? It stays clean. How many people in here can honestly tell me that if you looked at your rotary hook assemblies underneath your needle plates right now, that they look like they did the day your machine was delivered? No lint, no dust, no fuzz, no pieces of thread, no anything. Anybody can say that? Because most people can't. I've only got a few shops that are religious about their maintenance. And guys, if you haven't figured this out, if you don't schedule time for maintenance on your equipment will schedule that time for you. Plus, 3 minutes of maintenance every single day is way cheaper than this 300-pound technician showing up at your house, because I charge by the pound. It's called market price, baby.
Now, when you're inside that, you get all the shavings and stuff.
Yeah.
When you're inside there, what do you use to clean out from around the bobbin hook? Like in the arm.
Inside the rotary hook, his question was, guys, what do you use to clean out there? Now, the biggest waste of money, truthfully, in our industry is canned air. Who's still using canned air today? If you're cleaning one single head machine with canned air, and this is a production machine, you rely on 40 hours a week, you should be going through 2 to 3 cans a week without question if you're cleaning properly. That stuff's expenses at $5 a can. Say you're using 3 cans a week, that's $15. Let's multiply that by 4 weeks in the month, that's $60. Let's multiply that by 12 months in the year. You just spent $720 in canned air. You know how much the air compressor, 1.5 horsepower, cost at Home Depot or Lowe's? $150 last 10 years. I just saved you $7,000. I'll take 10%. Thank you very much. Okay? An air compressor is the best system, period, for cleaning out your machine. Yes, you will get some residue up inside the bed of your machine. So once a year when you do your spring cleaning or fall cleaning or your slow time of year, right, what you're going to do is take the 3 screws out of the bed cover and do what to it? Blow it out as well. If you maintain and clean the bobbin case area, which is the rotary hook, and it stays bright, shiny, clean metal, you will have very few to little tension issues with your bobbin case. What are you changing every 2 hours? A bobbin. You will learn what that's supposed to feel like. Unless it feels wrong, there's no reason to get it out and start cleaning or making adjustments or anything else. Remember, the bobbin case that cost $8 is the constant between all 15 needles on your machine. And not maintaining your bobbin case is why you turn tension knobs on your machine. We started this little class. The reason there's tension knobs on your machine is specialty threads. That's different weights, twists, different types of materials. As far as metallic, there's glass bead thread, everything else now. That's why there's tension knobs on your machine. But consistent embroidery day in and day out, there's consistency. Every knob should look the same. You can come by the booth. I'm in 1134. Any question you got embroidery-wise, machine equipment-wise, we work on about every single brand there is in the industry. There's very few that I haven't seen. Hope you enjoyed class, guys.
Thank you, Bill. How about a big hand for Bill Garvin? Bobbin Master. You're going to stick around for a couple minutes if people have questions.
yeah.
He'll stick around. That's the point of these talks. They're basically people that day in, day out do this work. We have a full list of speakers over there. It's all free. And come by to hear any of them and ask them questions after. And if you want a free shirt, courtesy of our sponsor, Champion, she has cards, and this is the shirt. Champion's 100th anniversary. Yeah, Bill's going to stick around if you have more questions, and thanks for stopping by Shop Talks.